Hey everyone, how's it going? It's that nerd Ryan here. Welcome to the chronological rewatch of Iron Man 2. So, this movie holds a lot of special sentimental stuff for me. This was the first MCU movie I saw. I made a video a long time ago about that and everything. I'm not going to recap it, and I don't want to share it because it was very low quality. But yeah, this was my first MCU film, changed my life, yada yada yada. Now I'm a big Marvel fan. But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and recap it. We'll do the quick story recap and then talk about its effects on everything MCU and everything like that. So we pick up basically immediately after Iron Man 2, or Iron Man 1, even during Iron Man 1, where we're introduced to the villain, which is Whiplash. Well, one of the two villains. Shows that his father used to work with Howard Stark, and the family kind of got kicked out and lost all their money and everything, which I have a theory that was actually the fault of Obadiah Stane. Not going to go into it, I'm just going to say that. But yeah, it was probably Obadiah Stane kicking him out, so he creates his own, tech. Cut to America, where we're introduced to a brand new looking Rhodey, played by Don Cheadle in this movie and for now on. At a starts with Tony Stark, but Don Cheadle shows up at a court hearing about if the Iron Man armor should be turned over to the government. Is spearheaded by a senator that we now know is part of Hydra, and Tony kind of makes an ass of himself and shows that basically the entire world's not even able to catch up to his technology, and that includes the other villain of this movie, Justin Hammer, who's more of a corporate villain. But yeah, in doing that, he kind of shows that nothing is, that nobody can catch up. So then we get to see Tony is actually poisoning himself with the palladium core from the first movie, so he has to try to come up with a new element. He gets a new secretary, played by Scarlett Johansson, who ends up being Black Widow, and starts kind of just living like it's the last day of his life. So he's driving a sports car, or he's in a race and everything and stuff like that. During that race, Whiplash shows up and starts just wreaking havoc with very similar tech to Iron Man. So Tony gets on the Mark 5. I also skipped the introduction of the Mark IV. I apologize. It's the intro of basically his version of the World's Fair, which is the Stark Expo. That's the Mark IV, and also where we find out about him with the palladium issue. Then it goes to the court scene. I'm sorry. But yeah, so anyways, he's ends up fighting with the Mark V suit and barely winning. Gets helped by Happy running a car into Whiplash. Gets arrested, or Whiplash gets arrested, and they kind of find out who he is. As Tony's going through, he kind of has a existential crisis, ends up getting drunk at his birthday party, and stuff like that, but we'll get back to that in a second, because Whiplash breaks out of prison with the help of Justin Hammer. Hammer makes him promise to make him soldier suits and everything like that. Whiplash keeps changing the deal, making it drones, then stuff like that. And Hammer keeps altering the deal too. But yeah, anyways, so Tony gets drunk, starts dangerously destroying the house and almost putting people at danger. At that, Rhodey puts on the Mark II, and they end up fighting. Rhodey ends up winning the fight and leaving with the Mark II. The fight ends in a draw, technically, but Rhodey wakes up first, leaves with the Mark II, and then creates War Machine. At that, Tony is stopped by Nick Fury, who reveals that his new PA is is Black Widow. Also during this, he did give Pepper power to the company, so she actually shuts him out because he is being an actual problem, not like how Obadiah shuts him out in the first movie for like getting in the way of his evil plan. She's actually doing it because she cares about him. Also in this, he goes under house arrest by Agent Coulson, who's watching him kind of basically like make sure that he's going to make this new suit to save his life. In that, Tony breaks out, steals a map of the expo, and figures out that his dad placed things that way to learn how to make this new element. So Tony makes a new element using Captain America's shield and pipes and everything like that, and puts it in a suit, and he now has a completely sustainable source. In that, he realizes that Whiplash is broken out, and made all of Hammer's drones, and there's a new angle. And Rhodey is the one that is actually spearheading Hammer's new drones as a commander, which his suit was also upgraded by Hammer, meaning that it was upgraded by Whiplash. So when Tony gets there, Whiplash changes everything to make the drones attack Tony and destroy the expo. In this, Tony saves a young Peter Parker, and then overrides Rhodey's suit so they can work together. They beat all the drones. Then Whiplash shows up, has a fight with them. They repeat the same move that knocked the both of them out to kill Whiplash. They do that. He sets off bombs on all the drones. Tony saves Pepper. Basically, end of story. They tell him that he's not fit for the Avengers, and the story ends. We cut to the post-credit scene, and we see Thor's hammer. So, this movie is very filled. It is definitely a bridge movie for basically all the MCU to set up for Avengers. This is also the beginning of Fury's big week. So, we have Incredible Hulk and Thor taking place basically at the same time as this. But yeah. Obviously, the new add-on characters are like staples of the MCU. We haven't seen Justin Hammer back yet. I have a feeling he's going to show up soon, probably in Thunderbolts or something, because it seems we're pulling stuff from the original Phase 1 a lot lately. But yeah, he's a good villain. I like the actor. I think he's funny. Whiplash was an alright villain. Kind of doesn't have a lot to do in the movie besides like build stuff and be very Russian and have a grudge for Tony. Tony's character arc in this I thought was great because we got to see his like darkest times and everything like that from the comics. Black Widow was a good introduction in this, and just like S.H.I.E.L.D. being more present was great too. I do kind of miss the old Phase 1 days, but I mean, I kind of like where we are right now, I guess is the best way to say it. But I really miss those old Phase 1, Phase 2 days. All in all, this movie, I am very biased to it because of what the movie represents for me. So I am going to have to give it a high score of 9 out of 10. It's very cool, very fun. The Marks 4 through 6 are also cool because the new suit that he makes with the new element is the Mark 6. And it really sets up Avengers pretty well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and follow me on all my social media down below. It's That Nerd Ryan.